Who's in charge of the weather? Whoever it is, you did a great job. I'll give you all the credit. Who'd like to start off?
Mike, can you just go over what your plan is for Robert for training camp and the preseason, his level of participation, and how rigid is it, or is there some flexibility based on how he progresses?
Well, initially, what we're going to do is what we did today. We had 30 minutes of individual work, and we had different types of individual work, as you could see today, different things Robert was doing. During the special teams period, what he was able to do is get his footwork for us to put him through all the situations that we had in team without being involved in any type of team drills. And then we had a 7-on-7, which he took 8 of the 10 plays and did a very good job coming in that situation for the first time in a while. But that's our plan initially, make him feel comfortable with what we're doing, feeling comfortable going back to doing some football drills, some football moves, and see how he does.
Oh, and follow on with what Mark asked as far as preseason and such. What's your plan for Robert during the preseason?
Well, what we plan on doing is progressing every day like we did today. We'll get a chance to see when he's ready for a possible team drill, more reps, all those type of things that come with time. But we're going to take it slow. Relative to preseason, my plan is not playing many preseason games. The first 2 weeks with a Thursday night and a Monday night game, then a relative short week the following week with a Monday night and a Saturday game, and then a Thursday game. It just doesn't make any sense to play him in any preseason game. So we're going to try to get him in football shape. What I'd like to be able to do when he's ready is be able to play or be able to practice at game-type tempo. When that'll occur, I can't tell you. When I think he's ready for it, it's going to take some time. It surely won't happen for 2 to 3 weeks. It does take some time to get back in football shape.
Coach in the back. At the start of practice, At the start of practice, RG3's first play was without his knee brace on. He came off the field and put that brace on. If you could explain.
Wait, say it again.
I'm sorry. At the start of practice,
right.
RG3. His first play was without a knee brace, and then he went off the field, put the knee brace on. Can you tell me if that was his thought or if that was your thought, if you just wanted to give it a try without the knee brace?
No, there's no plan. You just got him fined for not having a knee brace on. So I'm hoping you're very happy with yourself. That was somewhat of a joke. No, he's supposed to do everything with a knee brace on. I'm not sure why he didn't have his knee brace on.
Mike, you've talked about how far this program has come before, and I'm just curious, as you look out on that field now with the talent you have out there, do you think at all about really, year 4 now, just how much progress you guys have really made?
Well, you always feel good when you go into camp and you do have competition at every position. That's what you're looking for, where you're not sure who's going to make your football team. And you have some depth at a number of positions that you haven't had in a few years. So, yeah, that does make you feel good. Not only do you have depth, you have guys that have the character you're looking for as well. So I'm very happy where we're at this year. You're always keeping your fingers crossed that you can stay as healthy as you can possibly be. And hopefully we'll be a little bit luckier this year than we have been in the past.
Coach, over. There you go. Pierre Garçon today was talking about the offense, and he said he thought it could be the best ever in the NFL. I wonder how you feel about his optimism and if you agree with that.
Well, if you're in this business, you want to be the best at what you do. And I thought for last year having 6 new starters and be able to accomplish some of the things we did last year was pretty impressive with basically a very young football team. So, our expectations are high. We're going to concentrate every day on getting better, and if we do that, I think we have a chance to get better.
Mike, to your right over here. RG3 was saying yesterday there's nothing more important than your relationship with him for the good of the team, and that both of you made mistakes last year, and you've talked about that in the offseason. Just wondering where you are in terms of your relationship with him after everything the two of you went through last year.
Well, I think it's part of any football team. is relationships, and people have to trust each other. And, as I've asked Robert to do, is just be as honest with me as he possibly can. And I think Robert sees this year how important, being honest to each other is. And that's what we have to do. I told him that I'll be as straightforward as I possibly can be with him, and I'm hoping that he gives me the same. And if you have that within your organization, then you got a chance to do something special. If you don't, especially with the quarterback or really any position that demands perfection, if you don't have that type of relationship, the chances of being very good or winning the Super Bowl aren't very good.
Mike, can you talk about the secondary? You had two rookies out there running with the first team, and Emerson and Bakari, and Biggers had a big day today. Can you just talk about those guys, Merriweather being back, just how much better that unit seems to be?
Well, as you can see today, we have a lot more depth in the secondary. We have some young people, as you mentioned, with the addition of Thomas as well. I'm not sure if you did mention him, but I like what I see. We had good OTA days. We had anywhere from 6 to 7 weeks of great repetition. For those guys to come back after being away from a month and still retaining a good proportion of what we put in makes you feel good about what type of guys we've got. We know we have some playmakers, what they've done throughout their college career, and hopefully they can continue that in the NFL.
Mike, back in OTAs, you talked about the timetable for Robert coming back and how this was within that 7-month timetable from the surgery. Are you particularly surprised that he was able to come back this fast? And what did you see out of him on Monday that really led you to believe that he's ready to go?
Well, the first thing that you have to realize, you got to get in football shape. Even though he's cleared, I got to see it on the football field. And I've got to see it with drill work. It just doesn't happen like that. If you're dealing with trainers, you're dealing with doctors, they get him in shape. They can tell you when that knee's ready to go, but they can't tell you when he's ready to play. Because you got to see that happen over time. And you got to get him in shape. And in my opinion, you can't take a chance of going back too quick. And so as he does get in shape, as he does improve, you can see his body movements improve. The confidence in that knee, then you give him a little bit more rope. And you don't want to go back too quick. You want to make sure that you keep him healthy, and that's what we're going to do.
This is, I guess, the second or third year of the new system for operating training camp, where you have limited 4 hours on the field and no pads first 3 days and those types of things. I wondered how you felt about the system. Are you still able to get done what you want to do? How you accommodated yourself and playing?
Through the years, we've gone through a lot of different adjustments with the systems on what you can do, what you can't do, how long training camp is. I like the direction we've gone with the off-season program. I like the directions we've gone with the OTAs. I think it's positive to have a couple days without pads on. It doesn't make sense for me to be away from each other for 5 weeks and come in the first day, have 2 days, and just knock the heck out of each other. There's so many times that injuries occur, and the reason why I believe is the players aren't ready for that type of contact right away. So we had a good conditioning drill the first day, see what players were in shape, which players weren't. I think we had a great feel for which guys made that commitment, being gone for 4 or 5 weeks. I thought a rehab went well. The people that were going through different type of surgeries or rehab, they came back in excellent shape. The majority of them stayed in our facility throughout those 4 or 5 weeks. Now it's time to go. And the thing we try to concentrate on is not really the big picture, just concentrate day by day, get a little bit better. And as guys get healthier, then they get some more playing time.
How's the quarterback situation behind Robert shaping up, and how do you plan to use the quarterbacks during the preseason if he's not going to play during the preseason?
Well, when Robert is just taking the 7-on-7 reps, our other 3 quarterbacks got a great chance to get a lot of repetition. So we're working with 3 quarterbacks besides Robert in the individual drills. And what we're doing with the second team, as you saw today, they had 4 reps. The third team had 3 reps. So, first team had 4, second team had 3, and the third team had 2. So all the quarterbacks got some experience out there, and we'll continue to do that for a while to get all three ready to play in the preseason games.
Will Montgomery, what kind of development have you seen out of him since you've been here, and what are some of his attributes that you really like?
Well, I like Will from the first day I was here. You know, he was a guy that took a lot of pride in everything he did, how he worked, how he handled himself. Very conscientious, very smart. He's accountable. He's an accountable guy. He'll give you everything he's got in every play. And the great part about what we have right now is we have some competition at all the different positions. So we can shuffle guys around. If guys don't play at a certain level, they have a chance to get beat out, and that's what you want in the offensive line.
Mike, Pierre Garçon, someone that you weren't able to have fully healthy for a full year. Talk about the progress you've seen from him all season and what it could mean to have a healthy Pierre Garçon for a full season.
Well, I think you saw what a healthy Pierre Garçon can do because he was healthy after the bye week, and one of the reasons why we had the success we did have after the bye week. You're always looking for your great players to play, and when you don't have those guys, it is a difference. But some guys came in and got some valuable experience, did some good things. But when Pierre came back, you could see he's a difference maker. He is extremely strong, fast, very conscientious, very competitive, and he's the type of guy that gives you a chance to do something special.
The plan as camp goes along for Arakpo and Fred Davis, will they be full go, or will you watch them, limit them in any way?
No, they're full go. I mean, take a look at Rack after the Rams game last year. He's had a long time in the rehab. He's doing everything he possibly can to get in the best football shape he can. He looked great in OTAs. You know, you're always hoping that they stay healthy. You don't know for sure. But they're completely recovered. At least I feel, looking at Rack through all OTAs, he's as good as I've seen him. He's kind of, like I said before, he's possessed, the way he's practicing, the way he's playing. And there's always some hesitation with the Achilles. But when Fred did come back, we didn't push him back too quick. I think we could have played him the last couple of weeks. He's continued to stay in shape, and I'm hoping there is no setback with him.
Mike, over to your right again. In all your years in the league, are you familiar with anybody being put in the position you are where you can't play or don't feel that you can play your quarterback in the preseason games? Have you ever had that challenge before, and what are the pros and cons of doing it the way you are?
Well, I think so many times that the repetition in preseason is so over-exaggerated. Coached college for 10 years, we never had a preseason game. You go into the game ready to play. And a lot of times when you practice at game speed, you could go into a game without exhibition games. One of the reasons why you have exhibition games is to evaluate your talent. But if a player does have some experience and you're able to put that person through a good practice or practices where you get them ready to play, I think they're more than ready to play. Part of it's the evaluation. Part of it's to get the little rust off the old tires. You like to play them some, but you got to judge if it's worth it. In my opinion, if you're going to put them in, you'd have to put them in earlier than later because you don't play your whole team in the fourth preseason game. You're not going to put your starting quarterback in there. And from a Monday night game to a Saturday game doesn't make sense to me. So that's my thoughts why we won't play him in the preseason.
Coach, back here. Josh Wilson, this morning, there was an announcement came from the team that he'd been placed on the PUP list, and then we did see him this afternoon in practice. What was the setback there initially, and he's back, obviously back with the team?
Well, when Josh first came in, we were going to put on the PUP, and actually we did. What we wanted to do is test his strength. We know he's in great football shape. You can see with his legs, conditioning drill. But I wasn't positive because some of the tests that he did, I wasn't positive about his strength, going back to Pensacola and checking some of the things that he did. After we got him in the weight room and he lifted, we decided to at least let him do individual work. And hopefully over the next few days we feel good enough about his strength with some of these tests that he'll be ready to go. But he's not far away.
Hey, Coach, it was pretty cool to see the kids out in the field with the players. And the players told me that was your idea. Can you kind of explain how this came about?
Well, to be honest with you, what I was used to, I'm kind of used to in an environment like this where we get 4 or 5 players, we'll get a coach, and kind of sign autographs. And over the years, we did it, and a lot of people were happy. but I wasn't really sure if that was the best way to do it. And then Bruce Allen suggested to me, he said, you know, what Green Bay does I thought was kind of interesting, because they have a little distance between their facility, and kids would ride bikes, and they have a chance to spend time with a player. And we started talking with Bruce's suggestion, and I thought it was a heck of an idea. I said, why don't we, instead of signing autographs right away, because a lot of these players are going to sign autographs, and normally the only person's autograph they want is RG's in London, so everybody else is, kind of pushed to the side. We thought it'd be fun to just take a guy after practice, some young kid, and spend some time to get to know him, talk to him, so we can walk him from, maybe it's a 200-yard walk where, like Rex Grossman was throwing passes to a kid, and you have one player giving him his wristbands or his gloves, and you just get a chance to know him. And at least for the first day, I thought it worked out really good. So we're going to continue to do that. I think it's a chance for us to thank Richmond for all they've done for us, tell the fans how much we appreciate them being here at practice, and getting a chance to know our players.
Mike, Keenan Robinson spent some time in the training tent, didn't finish practice. What's his status?
I really don't know. He is having an MRI. We'll see how it is. It was not his shoulder that he had surgery on. It was the other shoulder. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Mike, how about Adam Carriker? He had the surgery today. What's his prognosis, and what do you know about that?
They say it's anywhere from 4 to 5 months recovery time. They said the surgery went well. He was very optimistic. And now we'll just keep our fingers crossed that his rehab goes well and he's ready to play.
You guys just anticipate that being a season-long thing then? That's it for him?
There's always a chance for it to happen before. I just don't know. But according to the doctors, the surgery was something that he needed and went as well as they possibly could have hoped for. So that's always a good sign.
Mike, Jordan Reed over here. Jordan Reed and Chris Thompson were out there today for the first time, after not having gone through the spring stuff. What did you see from them, and what kind of things are you maybe hoping to see from them as you go forward?
Well, we saw in the conditioning that both guys are in great shape. I wasn't really sure about either of them before we went through our conditioning drills. Both guys were one of the best. We went through the strength coaches, working them out with all different type of strengths tests. And at the end of the day, I'm really happy with how hard they both worked, because they gave themselves an opportunity to come in here and compete right away.
Because they missed that much time, how far behind are they at this point, and how easily can they catch up?
Well, what they were able to do is get a lot of mental reps. So they learned a lot just by going through drill work, even though they were going through rehab. So they weren't able to practice, but they got all the mental reps that you need. They were able to do some things with the trainers. And over a 5-week time frame, you got to study. And both of them have studied. Both of them have picked up the offense very quickly. And hopefully there's no setback. But both of them look very good, and we went on past them unless we felt good about both of them.
Mike, back here, Alfred Morris, how reasonable is it to think he can duplicate his production from last year?
Alfred was a young guy coming in. Usually when you come in as a rookie, it's really hard to separate yourself because there's a lot of things, going on in your mind. And when Alfred came in, the first time we really saw what he could do was we got him in the preseason game. Very impressive in the preseason, and you're hoping that was going to carry over into the season. Obviously it did. There's no question in my mind that he's going to be, one of the best backs, because how hard he works, what type of shape he's in. You can tell his confidence just in running over the OTA days and even today, that he's going to be a guy that just keeps on getting better. Can he surpass, what he did last year? I can't answer that, but I would be surprised if he doesn't have an excellent year, barring injuries.
Coach, over here, to your right. What's been your impressions of the facilities? How did you like the reception that you got today? I know there was probably a little bit of a bigger crowd, this afternoon, but what have been your impressions of Richmond and all they've provided to you, and what do you think of the fans and the reception?
Well, I don't think it could have been better. First of all, you take a look at this facility. It's a great facility. Everything that we need to do, we have right here. We got a great, training room, a great weight room. If you take a look at the fields, we got 2.5 fields, and they're in excellent shape. I think you could see with the support, the players really enjoyed the fans, and I think it was indicative with the way they reacted when they, at the end of the practice, how much time the players did spend with young kids. And at the hotel, it's worked out well. The hotel has been fantastic. There's plenty of meeting room. We get extra rest than we've had in the past, being at our facility when players separate. And great beds to sleep in, great meeting rooms. So it gives you a chance coming here to have an excellent camp.
Hey, Mike, with the decision today to waive Jordan Bernstein, you talked about how nasty that injury was last year. Was it just too much for him to come back from?
Well, it's hard for me. When I sit down with a guy like Jordan Bernstein, it's the hardest thing that you have to do in the profession as a head coach. Because here's a guy that comes in that is a former cornerback. He plays, he makes a transition to safety in the middle of his senior year, and he just got excellent potential. But with the injury that happened, it was just too hard for us to keep him right now. I'm hoping that he keeps on rehabbing and he does come back in good shape. But talking to him was very tough because anytime a guy works as hard as he does, it's really hard to tell him that, hey, we got to go in a different direction, but we're not counting you out. You can come back next year and hopefully he comes back in this type of shape where he can play.
Did he fail the physical?
Well, yeah, he can't. Yeah, he's failed the physical, yes.
Mike, what happened with Adam that prompted him to need another surgery?
Well, there's a few different stories, had a couple of surgeries. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but anytime you do have a surgery and you take a look at the progression of the knee or the quad, it just was not producing where he could get the movement in his legs and give him a chance to play. And so he could work with the weights, but just didn't have the circulation, didn't have the movement, and that's basically why he's had 3 surgeries. Hopefully this surgery will give him the ability to have that type of movement that he needs as a defensive lineman to get that stance and have the explosion. Okay, thanks.
So trying to be aware of that. Maybe we can sit in here. But what I was looking at